The Rock Whisperer. Do you hear the earth talking to you?
Rock types, Unit 3-3. So when we go to talk about different types of rocks, there are three main rock types that we've already talked about: sedimentary, metamorphic, and igneous. And those rocks are classified, and rocks are made up of one or more minerals. So when we talk about rocks, we're looking at their composition. We can classify rocks on several different things. Where were they made, which is their origin? What is their mineral content, what minerals are in them, and their texture. Texture does not refer to how rough or smooth something is, but texture is talking about the grain size or the crystal size within those particular rocks. So where did the rocks form? Well, if we have a rock that has a water origin, we know that's sedimentary. When we have sedimentary rocks, we have sediments that are transported through rivers, and then those rivers are going to deposit the sediments, sedimentary rocks. Magma or lava form igneous rocks. Molten material that when it solidifies is igneous. Heat and pressure give us metamorphic rocks. When we take something and any of the types of rocks, sedimentary, metamorphic, or igneous, and then we put them under tremendous heat and pressure, they change. Metamorphic rock. So the mineral content in a rock usually refers to our igneous type rock. The other type of rocks will have minerals, crystals in them, but for the most part, when we look at that composition, we're talking about igneous rocks. As we said earlier, texture refers to the crystal size. So in this particular case, if we have fine texture, it means it has small minerals or crystal grains. And if we have a coarse texture, it means we have large mineral or crystal grains. So, rocks give us clues. It's kind of like solving a murder mystery. So if you're the rock whisperer and the rocks are talking to you, you can use those clues in order to solve a murder mystery. So if you have large intergrown crystals, meaning that we have crystals that are relatively big in size, it means it's intrusive. When something cools inside the earth, it cools relatively slow. Think about if you're cooking something in the oven and you leave it inside the oven with the oven door shut, it'll take a long time for it to cool down. Compared to if you was outside, which would be extrusive, we'll talk more about that in the igneous rocks, it would cool very quickly if you took something out and set it on top of the oven. Foliated talks about having layers in it. So foliation is layers. Those layers refer to metamorphic type rocks. When things are under great heat and pressure, then they get squished together. Those things then produce different layers and bands within the rock. If something is relatively coarse grained and it's sandy feeling or has a sandy look to it, most likely it's going to be a sedimentary rock. It means the sand grains were deposited, and once they get deposited, they also get compacted, nowhere near the pressure as metamorphic, but there still is some compaction that squeezes the water out and causes them to be cemented together. So depending upon how the rocks are formed determines what properties they have. Depends on what we're going to use them for. Some rocks will be harder or softer than others depending on the process that they were formed
Don't forget to listen to the earth.